Hey there, planners. Today I'm super excited to be setting up my planner for 2022. This is my digital planner that I'm going to be going into 2022 using. I'm going to be setting up all those first-time pages like year at a glance and index and future log, all of those things that we need in our planners to help us get through the year. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so I've got my planner here ready to go, and as I talked about in my 2022 planner stack video, I am going to be using a digital planner, at least initially in 2022. This is really a new journey for me, but I'm very excited about all the possibilities here. What I'm learning, though, is that all the same activities are required for the digital planner that I have created here and with other digital planners as there are with normal planners. So there's still a setup process, and that's what I'm going to be sharing. So no matter what planner format you're using, I think you'll get value out of the activities here from the initial setup part. So let me go ahead and open up my planner. My first spread is the index, and this is a template that I created. What I love about this is that it has links. So I can quickly, after I list out what pages are in what order, I can quickly tap the links and get to that page. So for example, I've already posted a video about my word of the year and my goal setting process for 2022. So I can easily click the word of the year and get right to my word of the year, which is poise, and see the page that I've set up there. And then I can go right back to the index when I'm ready. So it has that same functionality as having an actual planner that you hold in your hand and you can flip to the pages, and it might even be a little bit easier to get to the sections of my planner that I want to navigate to. So today I'm going to be setting up probably the first 5 or 6 pages, and I went ahead and I did a little bit of sticky noting like I would normally do when I get a new Stylogy or a Scribbles That Matter notebook, trying to figure out how I want to lay out pages. So I do want this first page to be my cover page, so I've put a sticky note there to indicate that I'm going to make this my cover page, and this is just going to be a place where a little bit of vision board, a little bit of like this planner belongs to type page. I'm going to put that here, something to introduce and kind of set the tone for the setup of this planner. My next page is going to be a year at a glance. I find this really handy, and I've got some ideas about how I want to actually use my year at a glance, because a lot of times in the past I've set up a year at a glance and then I haven't really done much with it, but I think I have some ideas about how I want to use it. The next page is going to be my future log, really important for both this year, 2022, as well as next year. I'm going to go ahead and have space to capture those items out into the future. And then I've got my planning routines, which this is a page that I will refer to often. And it's like yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, breaking down all the ways that I use my planner and the activities that go in each of those. This is really important. Now, in the past, I have used planner cards, and I actually have a video on how to make your own, DIY your planner cards. I'll have that link down in the description box below if you want to check that out. But because I don't have a planner cover, traditional planner cover with a traditional planner in it, where I can put my planner cards, I need a page where I've got those planner routines easily accessible, and that's going to be this page. And then I've got a pen test, just like I would in a normal planner or bullet journal, where you want to test out pens and see how does it write on the paper and what do the colors look like, things like that. I'm going to be doing the same thing here digitally. And then the last page is that I'll set up today is my next planner. So I like to have a place as I'm using my planner through the year that I can come and make notes on what I want to do differently in my next planner. What's working, what's not working, ideas or trends that I see that I want to try in a planner. I need a place to keep those, because as I go to set up my next planner, I'll come back here and check those out and make sure I'm thinking through how to incorporate that in my next planner. So that's all the pages I'm going to set up today. You'll see that I have a lot more index pages than just the first 5 or 6 pages, and that's because I may think of other things throughout the use of this planner that I do want to include in the index, and I've got space to come back and add those later. All right, so let me get started with the first item, which is going to be my cover page. All right, so first I'm just going to come in here and put the title of that. I'm using a font called Amatic and I use it in bold. This is a Google Fonts. If you don't have this, you can download it for free on any of your digital devices or laptops, things like that. But it is one of my favorite fonts. And so I'll just come in here and put the title, cover page. And then I want to get that to a size that is going to fit in the box. So I'll make that a little smaller and pull that over here. And now I have the cover page ready to go. So when I click on that, it will take me to my cover page. I am going to be showing throughout this video a little bit of how I'm actually using the digital planning function versus just setting it up and then coming back and talking through it, because if you are going on this digital journey with me, which I've been so excited to see some of your comments on my Planner Stack video where you guys are actually deciding to try this with me this year. I'm really, really excited to be doing this with some of you. I want to share what I'm learning, and I would love to hear what you're learning. So if you see me doing something and you think, oh, there's an easier way to do that, please share those, because again, I'm still very new in my digital planning journey. All right, so I have a set of stickers that I have collected. I created a little sticker book, and the majority of these are either, they come from Pixabay, which is a site that offers copyright-free images. If you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me talk many, many times about how important it is to use copyright-free images versus just pulling things off of Pinterest. I feel like that's really important, and particularly because I'm sharing my planner with you all, I like to stay in copyright-free space. So I either purchase these stickers off Etsy from a number of shops, or I pulled these images off of Pixabay, or I created them myself in an app called Procreate, which is kind of a drawing, design, artistry type app where you have a lot of functions just like you would in, in different various medias like painting and charcoals and watercolor, pencils, things like that. But you can do it on the iPad, which is fantastic. So that's where these come from. There are actually 30 pages of stickers that I have collected and gotten ready for this. And you'll see that the theme is black and gold. So there's a lot of black and gold in here, and that's kind of going to be what I'm going for. So let me just flip through here and grab a couple of things that I know I want to use on my cover page. All right, so after much playing around, adding a bunch of stuff and taking a bunch of stuff off, I ended up landing with something very simple because I really like this. These are letters that are kind of Scrabble style letters, which I absolutely love these. These were from Pixabay, and then I just added in who the planner belongs to. So I was going to go with something a lot more, a lot more elements, but I actually really like the simplicity of the way this looks, and I love having the feather pen, the old style fountain pen in the digital planner. So this is what I'm going with for my cover page. So there's my cover page. Next page is going to be a year at a glance. So similar to how I did the cover page, I'm going to come in here and add the text. And I'm going to shorten this and just put kind of the acronym, year at a glance. And then I want to make that the right size. And, as I'm doing this stuff, if anybody has any questions, if you are trying to, play around with digital planning and you have questions about how I am doing some of these things, please feel free to pop those questions down in the description box below. So for my year at a glance, you guys know in the past what I would normally do if I had a Stalogy or Scribbles That Matter notebook, the type of notebooks and planners that I have used in the past. What I would do is use a freebie. I'm a huge fan of freebies for your planners, for planner inserts and tip-ins and stickers, all of that stuff. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use the exact same process. I'm actually going to go over to, I have a whole bunch of 2022 planners stickers that I have collected. These are from Lovely Planner. I have some from Shining Mom, monthly calendars, Sarah Titus. These are all available on their websites for free download. So I went to their websites, went to look for what type of freebies are available, and I really like these mini calendars from lovelyplanner.com. I have used Lovely Planner for years for free printables. I have a whole video series on free printables for your planner. I'll have those videos linked down in the description box below in case you want to access those, but I'm using them the exact same way that I would use in a physical planner in the digital planner. So I've got these monthly calendars. I'm going to go ahead and grab these and bring them over and figure out the best way to set them up for my year at a glance. Let me go ahead and get rid of my sticky note. And I'm thinking I want some type of background behind these calendars. So let me go see what I can find in my sticker book. So I've brought over this black with the gold kind of sparkles, light sparkles. One thing about digital planning that I'm figuring out is layering is important. So because I added these to the page first and this to the page secondly, if I try to put this behind these calendars, it's actually just going to stay on top. Because things are layered in the order that you add them to the page. So what I'm going to do, just a little trick, is I'm going to actually highlight all of these with the clipping tool and cut them and then repaste them on the page. So now they're the last thing that's been added, and that should allow me to put this behind. So I gotta resize this so it is going to fit, and obviously I'm going to need to crop it to be more square shaped so that it will fit correctly. And I think that may be the right size. So let me see. Oh, great. Okay. So now I'm going to just play around and move these around and get them in the right shape and size. All right, so now I've got those kind of lined up in order the way I want them to look with the background behind them. I'm going to go grab a 2022 from in here. Oh, I really like this this one here. It's very gold and sparkly. I'm going to put that up here. And then I've got a space for any notes that I want here. I think the way I'm going to use this, I really like the highlighter tool. And let me just see if I can find a good color. That's kind of a gold color there. Yeah, that's good. And so I'm thinking that I may be able to use these like this for cycle tracking. I actually think that's going to be a good use for this calendar this year, just to have a quick place to go glance and see what that looks like. So for example, I might just come in here like that, and then I would be able to, without making a whole page dedicated to cycle tracking, I would be able to quickly come and see that. So I think that's how I'm actually going to use this page. And then of course, any notes that I want to keep over here, big activities or anything that as I'm coming to reference this page, what I'm kind of looking for, I may make notes over here. So that is my year at a glance page. Next page I'm going to set up is the future log, and this is such an important page. This is where I quickly come in and capture items that are going to happen either a month or 2, 3, 4 months ahead, even into the next year. And this is how I capture things very messy, written, scribbled down quickly, so that as I go to set up that month, then I can quickly reference the list of items that I have. So let me add the title to the cover page, to the index, and then I will start to set that up. All right, so I've got it added to my index, and now I can click the page, go right to it. Let me get rid of my sticky note here. And I think looking at all the calendars I have captured, I actually think that the same ones from Lovely Planner are actually going to be the ones I use. I do like these from Ceratitis, but I think they would be, by scrolling you can see what that looks like. I think this is actually going to be a little better for an actual calendar. What I need is just a reference calendar with the numbers, the dates, so that I can quickly look at it and grab what I need for a future log. So I actually think this is going to be the best set again for that purpose. So let me grab all of these. All right, so I've grabbed this for a label, and then I also grabbed this nice little decoration to go behind the calendars. So let me go back to the calendars and grab those. All right, so now I've got my calendars. So for example, January, I do want to keep them small because I will actually focus in on it when I need to see the calendar. So for example, if I need to see it, I can scroll in like that and see the dates. But what was really most important to me is to be able to have that space. So here is January, and I'm probably going to end up having to add a second page, which is fine. Have the first 6 months of the year on this page, and then the next 6 months of the year on the second page, but I may be able to do them in a row here. So let me just see how this works. I'll keep setting these up and show you what it looks like once I get them all laid out. All right, so I've got the first 6 months laid out, and you can see how they, and I added in the title on the gold. I think that gold actually could be a little smaller. See how that looks. Yeah, like that. And then I've got the first 6 months, and when I look at the space I have, I'm probably going to need that much space between each of the months. So I am going to end up needing to add another page. But I did want to see really quickly if I had, I'm thinking some sort of divider just to help me see where the dividing lines are between something in gold. Let me see if I can find one of those and grab it. All right, what I found for divider lines, I found these 3. Now I don't need all 3. So I really just want to use that big one. So let me go into the crop tool. I'm gonna see if I can crop it down to just that one, and then go over to freehand and just grab this one line here. Yeah, and that gives me that line. And then I think I can put it kind of where I want it, just as a divider. Perfect. Now I just copy and paste, and I hope you're seeing, if you've not used digital planning before, I hope you're being able to see kind of the ease of which I'm able to do some of these things that if I was not digital planning would take me forever. All right, I need to move these calendars out of the way, so I'm going to go ahead and add an additional page with the current template and move these calendars over to the next page. I also want to recreate this title, so I'm going to grab this, copy it, add it to this page, and then I want to keep that same size. I want it to be consistent, so I'm going to grab one of these and move it over here as well, and that will help me get that consistent look between the 2 pages. All right, I need 2 more of these, so let me copy this and paste that in and get those divider lines in place. And that is going to be my future log. So that's the first 6 months. Let me set up the second 6. All right, so now I've got the last 6 months of the year, and I want to include those dividers. So I'm just going to copy those, bring those over, put them in place, and now I have my future log. Now what is missing is a 2023, but I think what I'll do is as I get to the last quarter of the year of 2022, if I'm finding that I need that additional page, I can always come in and add a page to start tracking 2023 items. If anything comes up, I'll probably just put it down here at the bottom for 2023, just so that I don't lose track of it. The one thing I do think I want to add is the year 2022. So let me go back and grab one of those. This one will be perfect. And I'll just add that up here at the top in the corner on both of the pages. All right, so that is my future log all set up and ready. I can't wait to start populating things in it because I already have things I want to put in there, and I can just come in here and add my items. The way I will probably add items is to use the highlighter tool to make a dot. So I'll use the smallest one, and then I would just come in here and write in ink, you know, whatever the item is that I need to remember. So there's my future log, all set up and ready to go. The next page I have is planning routines. This is so important. So I'm going to be setting up quarterly, yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily activities. And I'm actually going to pull out my old planner cards, task cards that I had made to help myself remember what those things are. So I am adding in the title to my index page, and then I'm going to size that to the right size. And now that's all set up, I can go right to my routines page, get rid of this, and it needs a title, so let me head over here. I was actually thinking of using one of these. I haven't used these yet, so I think actually this one would be a good one. I'm going to put this at the top. Let's see if I can get it the right size. There's so many resizing tools. I'm really enjoying the different options for resizing and placing things. And then I'm going to add in the text to say, let's see, I actually want to change the color. I'm going to go with white on this and call this routines. I feel like I'm going to be referencing this page quite a bit, and then that's going to need to be resized. It's hard to see because it's white right now. Oh, totally missing a letter there. A couple of letters actually. Okay, and then need to resize that. Let's see. And I love that I can turn off and just grab text boxes so that I don't mess with that other one, that background there. Yeah, I think that's going to look, maybe over here. So that's going to look good there. All right, so I've got the header set up, and now I need to grab something that I can put the time frames in, and I really like this call out box. I tried to use it on the cover page, but it didn't quite work there, so I think I'm actually going to use it for setting this up to call out the time frames. And it's a little big, so I think I'll squish it down like this. And let's see, I want to add in, this would be annual is my first category of routines. And then my next category is going to be quarterly. And I have fewer annual and quarterly routines than other areas, so I think I can stack them. That in there, so that's my quarterly box. And then I need a monthly. Now there's a lot more monthly, weekly, and daily. So that's monthly. It's not quite centered. There we go. Neither is this one. Text boxes are funny. I want to use text boxes when I'm setting up these pages that I'm going to be looking at over and over again, but I actually prefer just writing things out versus using text boxes because they can be a little funky to deal with, and sometimes they annoy the crap out of me. So I like to use them sparingly. This is going to be weekly, and then the last one is daily. All right, so there are those all set up. Now, what I can do is come in here and list out, and I'll use my highlighter tool, and I think I'll probably just go with gray since there's not any gold on here, and I will just list out, for example, one would be taxes. Taxes is something I need to think about on an annual basis, make sure I have it scheduled, the time frames, the activities, things like that. Another annual activity is goal setting. And that requires me to think about it, back up, make sure I have the right time frames, I'm starting at the right time to get all that accomplished. An example of quarterly would be changing out the filters in our HVAC system. I also like to do new toothbrushes. And it's like, gosh, these are so small, but you know what? If I didn't have it written down, I would never remember. It would slip right by me. So that's why I like to put these things in my planner somewhere so that I remember to do these things. And then an example of a monthly task would be my puppy's heartworm meds. And then example of a weekly task would be meal planning. And then example of a daily would be like vitamins. Okay, so that just gives you an idea of how I will use this section. I'm going to come in and populate it a lot more than this because my list is pretty long. But when I go to set up my monthly calendar, I will pop over here, take a look at everything that is in this calendar. And one of the features that I love about, you know, with a task card, with a planner card, I would just pull it out and set it to the side. Let's say this is my monthly calendar and I'm setting it up. Well, do I have to go back and forth? How do I do that? I actually love the feature of being able to split the screen and have, you know, my page pulled up right here with my monthly list, and then be able to, you know, on my monthly calendar, grab those items really quickly. So that's a very easy, handy way to be able to use, you know, the digital planning in the same way you would a task card. So there's my routine set up. My next page is my pin test page, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this. So let me get this set up on the index. All right, so I have pin test page set up on the index. Now I can flip right to that page. I'm going to get rid of my sticky note. And I pulled over two items that I think I'm going to use. I really like this feather from the first page. So I grabbed this as well. I just kind of like the shape of it. Let's see if I can get it to sit correctly. I'm going to write in the title on here, and I want to be able to use this kind of right on top of there. Perfect. Now, since it is a pin test page, I'm actually going to write. Let's see if I can write it neatly enough. Perfect. Okay, so it's a little messy, but I've got pin test page as my title. Now, the thing I want to be able to do is in this planner, in GoodNotes, the app, you have 3 different pens to choose from: fountain pen, ball pen, and brush pen. And then you've got some settings that you can play around with. In the sizes, you've got 3 options you can save in your sizes, but you've got between, you know, 0.1 millimeters all the way up to 2.0. Depending on the planner that I'm working in, there are different sizes, but what I want to have is a really quick reference of what those sizes are. So I'm actually going to start with 0.1 and actually write out so that I can see in the ball pen what that looks like. And then I'm going to go up each time, and you actually go up by 0.05. I'm actually going to go up by 0.1 each time and see what that looks like. so that as I'm trying to reference and pick a size, I can actually get a view of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of it. You don't have to watch me do each one of those, but I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the pens. All right, so now I have, for the ball pen, I have 0, 1 all the way through 2.0, and then I went ahead and did the highlighter in all 3 sizes. There's 3 sizes to choose from, small, medium, and large. I did that so I can quickly see if I zoom all the way out, what is it going to look like? If I zoom in, what is it going to look like? That's a great reference to start with. The other thing I will use this page is as I find colors that I really, really love, which I have some of those already saved in my presets, I will come in here and you can actually get the hex code, and then I can just copy that hex code and paste it right here. And then when I do that, I can change the color of the writing to that hex code so I can actually see, you know, that's a purple, that's the hex code for the purple that I really, really like. So I will keep using this page as I continue with this planner, as I find different colors that I really, really like to use. It's fantastic, all the options of pens and colors that I have just with this one guy. But having a place to keep up with some of my favorites, that's going to be important to me. So there's my pen test page. My last page that I want to set up today is my next planner page. All right, so I've got that title set up on my index. I'm going to click that, go straight to my next planner page, go ahead and get rid of my sticky note. This page needs a title and then some space for listing, because really what I'll come here and do is list the ideas that I have for my next planner. So let me see if I can grab something for a title and then maybe some dividers for a list. Oh, you know, I really like this guy and I haven't used it yet. So I'm going to put this in over here just as a little decoration. Isn't that so cute? That came from Pixabay. I just love that little image. It's actually kind of like a hand-drawn image, but I think it goes with the idea that I'm counting down to my next planner. So let me go grab a couple of other items. All right, so I grabbed a couple things. I grabbed this divider bar that I'm going to use to divide up this page into sections, and then I also grabbed this header. I do want to see if I can make this just a little longer, and then I'm just going to add in the text. All right, so there's my title, my next planner. I've got this one divider bar in here. I'm actually going to make a couple copies of this and add them in. And I wonder, might need to make them just a little bigger. So I'm going to use the image tool and see if I can stretch them out a little bit. Make them skinny and stretch them out. And let's see, I'm going to get rid of these two and copy this one. Perfect. Give myself 2 different columns. And then I can also go ahead and add in the dots to make it easier for myself to actually make notes. I'm going to go with this tiny dot and just give myself a starting place to actually write in ideas for my next planner. And instead of making those dots over and over again, I can just copy and paste the same dots in all the sections. That way I already have a place to very quickly come in and capture ideas for my next planner. So that actually concludes the setup of my setup pages. Let me do a quick flip through. I'll start from the cover, go right into my index. These are all links so I can quickly pop in and tap to the page. I've got my cover page this planner belongs to. I've got my year at a glance, which I do plan to use for cycle tracking just by highlighting those days so I can quickly reference that. And then I also have a place for notes here. I've got my future log all set up and ready to go to put in all the items, you know, all the activities that are coming up in the future. That's a 2-page spread with the second half of the year 2022 here. I've got my routines ready to go, so I can quickly come in and pop those in here. Annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. And then I've got my pin test page, which I'm going to be coming back and putting a lot more stuff here. And then my next planner ideas. So that is my setup, in addition to what I've already set up for Word of the Year and goals. And you know, if you missed that video or want to go check that out, I'll have that link down in the description box below. I've got lots of room to keep adding, so I wanted to ask you, what are your ideas? As you're setting up your new planner or bullet journal, what are the spreads that you're including in your initial setup? Some things you won't see, for example, you won't see a key in here, which gives you all the signifiers I use in my planner, because I have used them for so many years now, I don't need a key anymore. So I don't take the time to set that up. If you are just starting with bullet journaling, or you're just starting a planner and you really need those signifiers, I would highly recommend you include that. And I do have a video all about setting up a key. I'll have that link down in the description box below. What other ideas should I be including? I would love to hear from you. What are you setting up in your planner as you get ready to head into 2022? Leave me some comments. I might be able to fill in some of these pages before I actually get started. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.